on stage with him. I'm going to ask you a question. How dense is it? Take full ownership for everything, and then everything gets easy. Morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Actually, I have a funny intuition. Let's start with this. By show of hands, how many people here have no idea who the fuck I am? Raise your hand. But, hurts. So I kind of figured that was the case. So for the ones that do know who I am, I apologize. I'm going to give 10 minutes of my backstory because I think it's important for the half of the room here who doesn't, because it will set the tone for everything I'm about to talk about. I was born in the former Soviet Union in Belarus. I came to the US when I was 3. It was the late 70s, the economy was shit, and so we lived in Queens in a studio apartment with 8 family members, my great-great-grandparents, my grandparents, my grandmother, excuse me, like just real kind of like hardship stuff. My parents are my heroes. You know, my dad started working 3, 4, 5 different jobs right away. My dad and I slept under the same roof every day of my life up until I was 18. Yet from 3 to 14, I basically never saw him once because he would leave before I would get up and he would get home after I fell asleep. He eventually found himself in a liquor store as a store manager in New Jersey. And that allowed us to move out to the Jersey suburbs and start our American dream. You know, how many people here are immigrants or children of immigrants? Raise your hands. So, a lot of you know this. Immigrants have really figured out the strategy. It's called work a lot, make not that much, but spend no money on dumb shit, save it for a decade, and then buy an asset. And that's what my dad did, right? He saved, and he eventually had a small liquor store in Clark, New Jersey. I grew up in Edison, New Jersey. I was an entrepreneur from the get, long before this was cool or it was good to be a business person. In the 80s, it was all about education. I went the other way. I was an obnoxiously poor student, straight D's and F's. Because somewhere around 4th grade, I was like, who gives a fuck about Saturn, right? I remember sitting in science class, I'm like, this shit is not gonna end up mattering. And so I went all in on what I was a lemonade stand kid, I was a baseball card kid, I'm 42, so baseball cards were really big when I was a kid. And by the time I was 12 or 13, I was making $2,000 to $3,000 a weekend selling baseball cards in the malls of New Jersey. I don't know about you, but when you're 13 and you have $30,000 in cash under your bed and you're not selling weed, you're doing a good job. So that's my DNA. I was winning in business, I was losing in school, and then I turned 14 and my dad ruined my life. He dragged me into the liquor store that he now owned in Springfield, New Jersey. I was oldest son from the old country, which meant I had to work when I turned 14. And I went from making $2,000 to $3,000 a weekend selling baseball cards to making $2 an hour bagging ice for 15 hours a day in my dad's basement. My dad's also a very different dude than me, very Soviet out, AKA his employees did not like him very much. So I took a lot of beatings that were meant for my dad in those years. So really difficult years, 14, 15, 16, hated it, was making $30 on a Saturday, really changed a lot of things for me, but really taught me hard work, things of that nature. And then I was 16 and I was allowed upstairs and finally kind of saw that people were into wine, fell in love with the idea of selling wine because people collected it the way that I thought about baseball cards. And even though my dad's store was called Shoppers Discount Liquors and was a liquor and beer store, there was enough rich areas around my dad's store where I could see the wine business was brewing. Because I went into class and never paid attention, I would basically spend my sophomore, junior, and senior year in high school sitting in class reading the Wine Spectator and other wine information. And basically when I was 17, I decided that I was going to build the Toys R Us of wines, right? I was going to build 4,000 wine superstores one day over 30, 40 years, sell it, take the money, buy the New York Jets, win 7 Super Bowls, and die. That was the plan. What happened, though, was a little bit different. I was planning on not going to college. My mom basically forced me. I got a postcard in the mail from Mount Ida College in Newton, Mass. I filled it out, and that's how I went to college. While I was in college in first semester playing Madden 94, dominating by the way, my friend walked into my dorm room. He's like, you have to come and see this. I walk into a room, there's a computer. Now for the young, how many people under 30 here? Raise your hands. Just curious. So kids, you have to understand, I'm now 18, and I've been on a computer for maybe 6 hours in my entire life. This is pre-fucking internet, right? I sit in front of a computer, I see a computer, it's the first time I ever hear some of you remember that. $3 a fucking minute internet. AOL is a fucking gangster. Anyway, I'm like, is this the information superhighway or some dumb comment? I watched people on the internet for 5 hours. It was so crazy. If some of you remember back in 94, 95, the first time you saw it, I literally watched people on the internet for like 5 hours. And finally it was my turn. I got on it, and within 25 minutes, I was on a bulletin board where people sold and traded baseball cards, and like that, I realized that I wasn't gonna open up 4,000 liquor stores. I was gonna do this thing. Spent a year and a half understanding what that thing was, mainly on the back of buying shit and selling it on eBay, figured it out, and in 1996, I launched one of the first e-commerce wine businesses in America. In 98, I took over my dad's business when I I took over running it for my dad in 98. And from 1998 to 2003, in that 5-year window, I grew my dad's business from a $3 million a year business to a $60 million a year business. Don't clap, don't clap. I fucked up, and I'll tell you in a minute why. And it's gonna really matter to you. It's going to really matter to you why I didn't want you to clap for 3 to 60 million and why it should have been 3 to 250 million. And it's the biggest thing that I want to leave this talk with today. I have a good sense of this industry. I was fortunate enough to give a talk maybe a couple months ago to this industry. I did a little homework. I've done more homework since. It was really interesting. Really good panel up here. I was kind of listening in the background. I had a funny thought about the gentleman, I don't know who it was, who said, you shouldn't be spending your time running Facebook ads, you should have somebody else doing it. For me, I understand that thesis. For me, I do want you to learn how to run Facebook ads so you know if somebody's ripping you off or doing a good job when you run Facebook ads. That to me is imperative. There is nothing more important than for you to understand how to spend money on Facebook and Instagram to your business. I laugh that I don't know anything about your business. I've learned just a little bit. And the fact that first mover advantage to knocking on doors post-storm is something I can beat all of you on every day of the week by running Facebook ads 2 days before the storm hits. To me, that's interesting. To me, that's interesting that you're second and third generation, or that you're winning, doing $4 to $100 million in sales in your business. Me, know dick shit about your business, but on the back of how ridiculous Facebook is, within 1 minute, and about $1,000 in Facebook ads can absolutely give you a real run for your money. That's fucked up, / that's exciting. And that's the theme that I want to talk about. The reason I'm pissed about my story of building my dad's business from 3 to 60 million is that I figured out something in 2001 that most people didn't understand, which was this new thing called Google was going to be a motherfucker. While everybody else was doing direct mail and knocking on doors and running television ads and doing radio, I spent money on Google. Google was new, and I owned the word wine and Cabernet and Merlot and Kendall Jackson and Santa fucking Margarita for 5 cents a click. And I fucking ran it, But like a dick, I was also doing direct mail and radio and outdoor and television and full page ads in the newspaper because I was a kid and I was tasting everything, and I didn't understand that this Google thing was so underpriced that I was spending $1, but it was worth $100. And all I should have done was go, how many people here play poker? Cool. When you have the best hand, you go all in. I didn't. And had I, that story that I just told you of 3 million, I would have been able to say 3 to 180 million. Fucked up. Now, from 2004, 2005, all the way up until 2013, there wasn't anything as good as that hand. Right now, there is. It's called Facebook. I love that all of you shit on it. I love that all of you assholes have opinions about it, yet you've never run a Facebook ad. You actually say it doesn't work, yet you've never run an ad and you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Now, a couple things, let me make a caveat. I don't give a fuck about Mark Zuckerberg or Facebook or any of you in this room. So all the stuff I'm going to spit right now, it's just because I want you to email me in 7 years and say to me, hey, you came to Vegas and you suffocated my bullshit and I started doing it and my business got better. I get a high from that email or that tweet. But whether you take anything I'm about to say as serious or important or do anything about it, I have no skin in the game. I don't want you to hire my company. I got no program to sell you. I don't give a shit if this is the last time we ever talk. What I want you to know is this. Babin, where are you? Good. My video guys right there, I'm producing content. I'm literally going to say everything just to be historically correct so I can show this video in 8 years and say, I fucking told you. And I think it's important for you guys to know that that's the energy that I'm coming from. Because I day trade attention and culture. Meaning, if tomorrow I don't think Facebook is good anymore, I have no romance to it. My biggest concern for actual business people, what I love about coming to a conference like this is a room of actual business people. The problem with actual business people is that they get too romantic about what got them there and thinks that is going to be what gets them to the next place. The quickest way to not win going forward is being too romantic or emotional or blinded or believing in what you did to get to this moment. What got you here is exactly what's not going to get you to the next place. And here's the punchline, my friends. This is the remote control of our lives. If you don't understand what's going on with this, you are missing a huge opportunity. This is where we live. This is secondary. This is where we live. Now, you may be upset about it. You might think back to a simpler time. Here's the punchline. Nobody gives a shit about your feelings or your opinions. I don't like anything. It's just, I only deal in reality. I only care about what's actually happening. I know that people are winning in your space. After I spoke last time, I was like, I wonder what's really happening. And I did a little bit of homework. There's a lot of people who are building databases using weather trackers, right? Running Facebook ads the night before the storm, getting the first party data, and then are calling people while the storm is happening and are 12 to 24 hours ahead of your army that's knocking on the doors. That's already happened. And to be very honest, I want to make sure this industry understands that Uber and Amazon is going to happen to every industry. The internet is the middleman. The internet is the middleman, right? So the bookstores got fucked first, right? Jeff Bezos decided to sell books. So if you had a great 3-generation book business, they're the ones who got affected first, right? It's really interesting. This is an important lesson that you guys should hear. I think you'll get some value from this. When we came to America, a lot of my dad's Russian friends went to LA because it was warmer, right? And a lot of those dudes ended up riding taxis and eventually, how many people here from LA or have spent time in LA? So what some of you may know is before Uber, a lot of the black cars were really run by Russian companies, a bunch of Eastern European dudes, because they kind of settled in the late 70s, and that's how they made their American dream. So a lot of them were, I invested in Uber maybe 7 years ago, right? And when I first saw that, I thought it was going to be a big deal. I got scared for my dad's best friends in LA, and I called them. And I called Vladimir and fucking Igor and Nikolai. And I called these fuckers, and I said, hey, listen, this new thing is dangerous. Like, I'm telling you, please pay attention. Because if you don't adjust, or I know you're now in your late 50s and 60s, where are you at? Would you consider maybe selling your business? I was talking to them out of unbelievable love. And basically all 3 of them were kind of gave me the feedback of like, that's cute, boy chick, but like, we'll be okay, right? 48 months later, every one of those guys' businesses was worth between 10 to 25 cents on the dollar. And now they're finished. completely blank. And so for me, not that I think anybody here gets wiped, I find games that are based on hustle and speed interesting. I love and admire a lot of the business models here of like the ability to pick up and just go to fucking Puerto Rico, drop 30 fucking inches on the ground and fucking go and make money. I love that shit. You know, like I fucking love, like I'm about to maybe quit my own job and get in the game with you guys. Like I fucking love it. I love it. But what I know is if I decided to do that, I'm not gonna play the same game you're gonna play. I'm going to run underpriced Facebook ads, cover every citizen as the storm is happening, and pull and pull. I'm sure there's been times where people tried to get there early, the storm didn't happen, it did happen. There's a million variables. I know there's a lot that I don't know about your business, but here's what I know. No matter what anybody does on earth, there's only one asset that matters: attention. When you knock on somebody's door and they open it, you've got their attention. That's the fucking asset. And the reason that I'm going to buy the Jets and win 7 Super Bowls before I'm dead is because I'm the best trader of attention. I've made my entire career based on attention. I understood it with email. I started an email list that had 90% open rates because it was 1997 and we didn't spam people on email yet. And how many people here had email in 1998, 1999? Raise your hands. Do you guys remember? We read every single email back then because we treated it like mail. We're like, oh shit, it's important, we better read it. That game's over now. You skim it. That game is now being played out on Facebook and Instagram. Those ads right now are $6, $7 to get in front of 1,000 people. Those same ads in 4 years are going to be $60 to $200 to get in front of 1,000 people, and we're all going to be tired of ads and are going to convert as well as we do today. This is the greatest era to attack a mass platform and understand it. There is every single person here should 100% spend 10 hours. I don't care if you're 73-year-old Al in this room and been doing it your way, from 73-year-old Al to the youngsters in this room that want to kill the other people in the room. You need to go home and get educated real fast. I do not believe that you should not waste your time running Facebook ads. I think more important than anything you can do for your business is to go home and spend 10 hours reading, watching YouTube videos, or listening to a podcast. I don't know how you learn, but however you learn, spend 10 hours and learn how to run Facebook ads, and then go to your phone or computer and run $1,000 worth of your figures, yours, $1,000 worth of Facebook ads, and see how it does. Taste it. Now remember this, the ROI of Facebook is completely predicated on your skill set. How many people here have run Facebook ads and it didn't work? Raise your hands. Raise them high. I want everybody to see this. Higher. Bro, higher, please. I want everybody to see this. This is, thank you for standing, my man. You're really fucking pissed at Facebook. I like it. Fuck me. Fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Guys, the reason all those people didn't succeed is because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. I mean this. The ROI of a basketball for me is 0. For LeBron, $1 billion. The ROI of a piano for Elton John, $1 billion. For me, 0. The ROI of Facebook ads for me is going to be $1 billion. For all those hands, 0. It comes down to, do you know what you're doing? Do you understand the craft? Because I promise you the attention is underpriced. Because I promise you it works at scale for every industry. The highest converting demo right now on Facebook to sell as a macro is 50 to 80-year-olds. 50 to 80-year-olds as a net are converting the best because they go through the feed slower. That is true. That is fascinating. That is incredible. And so, yeah, I mean, honestly, I mainly want to do Q&A. I don't know how they're going to set it up, but I want to get you in the framework of this. This is where our attention is. Over 50% of the time spent on these devices is spent on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, LinkedIn. This is where the attention is. This is how it plays out. If you are not a practitioner in it, you will lose. I know that culture is changing. I know this is the cliche. So many businesses don't adapt to these changes because they don't see the results to the hands that we show, or they've been successful. For example, how many people had their best year in the last year? Raise your hand. First of all, let's clap it up for half the room. Clap it up. One more time, if you could please me. How many people had their best year? That scares me. Because when you're winning, you're less likely to deviate and do something else from what got you there. Just the way it is. And so when I see half this room raise their hand, I don't think that I connect on stage and get them to do it. Deep down, I don't care. Deep down. But at some level, if I'm here, I feel like I want to deliver on my thing. And I feel like it's an incredible opportunity. And I know it's going to go away. And then we're going to have to wait 7 to 10 years again for something. It's real estate. There was somebody who literally bought an acre in Manhattan for $1. That happened. It was hundreds of years ago, but it actually happened. Like somebody stole it, right? That happens. That's what I think is happening with attention. I think about attention like real estate. Can you buy stuff that's underpriced? Can you sell stuff that's overpriced? The end. You can tell me that 30 people knocking on doors cost this much and here's the ROI. Love it. My question is there an alternative to do it better? Because I have a funny feeling you'd rather run on 50% margin instead of 30% margin if you could. If you could. And so that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm seeing. Now let me take it to a different place. I've got a little bit of a different spin on this. One of the biggest things that's sitting in this room as an opportunity is for you to build a brand as a human around your expertise. You making videos around your expertise around this and using it as a double funnel to get business, to get talent, and to also get other opportunities that you've never thought of to monetize. In the same way that I want you to be able to promote your business and get people aware of what you're doing, I also want you to think about other revenue stream potentials using the same platform. To me, it is a remarkable opportunity for you to literally take phone to face and talk about the things you know. Literally document it. Literally talking about what you know. Literally filming the way I do your experience. Literally filming your people in the field executing. If everybody here started thinking of themselves as a media company, not as the company that they are, construction, or this, or that. If you thought of yourself as a media company, I actually think you're competing more with CNN and ESPN than you are with anything else right now. Because it is all about content. That is the gateway and the oxygen of business opportunities going forward. That's a brain twist. It's not something that, I know that doesn't come natural. Should I hire an editor-in-chief or a videographer? That's foreign talk. When I spit this shit to my dad, other than the fact that I've always been right, it pisses him off because he doesn't believe it, but he's like, fuck it, he's been right so many times. So I get I just want you to know how much empathy I have. I grew up in a family business. Just to give you guys context, when I grew my dad's business from $3 to $60 million, my first year marketing budget was $17,000. I had no money. Like, you had to make every penny be worth $1. The place right now to make a penny worth $1 is Facebook and Instagram. It's just facts. It's just the reality. How many people here listen to podcasts in the morning or listen to podcasts at all? Raise your hands. A lot. Do you know that there's nobody who's dominating your space as a thought leader on podcasts, yet it's one of the biggest places where attention's playing out right now? Literally, if you write down Anchor.fm, not a company I'm associated with, it's just the best product. Anchor.fm is an audio app that literally lets you record on your phone your podcast, hit one button, and upload your podcast. Like, literally, 99-year-old Gertrude can figure it out. The fact that you can literally, tonight, in your hotel room, start your first podcast by hitting one button on that platform and be in the game and start that process is just remarkable. This just comes down to very simple things. What I'm thinking about up here right now is not are you smart or are you capable, that I already know. I just think that most people's ambitions in this room aren't matched by their actions. This is work. The reason most of you don't want to do all the shit that I believe in is because it's hard work. And it's hard work that doesn't come natural to you. You're all of us are willing to do hard work in things that come natural, and then not in things that don't. I'm willing to work 19 hours a day, bleeding out of my eyeballs, running a 900-person agency and dealing with all the bullshit, but I'm not willing to take a test or study for a test, right? We all have that. I know that this, what I talk about, is not the thing that a lot of people want to put hard work into. I just think that you have no choice. I think for the next decade, actually, let me ask this question. How many people in this room are retiring within the next 10 years? And I don't mean you're gonna fucking crush it and buy an island. I mean, you're fucking old and you're finished. Raise your hands. 10 years? Not you, wait, you guys. 10 years? That shit was definitely old as shit. All right. I think you got 10 years. All right. 4 people. For the 4 of you, you can take everything I've said with a grain of salt. For the rest of you, I want to remind you what the world looked like 10 years ago. All the things I believe in didn't exist. Smartphones, YouTube, Facebook, they did, but they were just non-factors. How many people here now mainly watch Netflix outside of live sports? Raise your hands. 65, 70% of you. Literally ABC, NBC, and CBS are new shit. Literally. The biggest companies in the world, Toys R Us, out of business, fashion brands, out of business, like, so much is happening. And I would hate for you to think, because your business is a human business, and it comes to door knocking or this and that you're okay. Technology will eat everything. Not that it's gonna hit you tomorrow, not that it may even not hit you for 7 years, but let me promise you this. If you're not ready, and if you don't know how to run ads on Facebook, or do a podcast, or understand what Instagram is, or Google Ads, if you don't understand that part, you will be absolutely, unbelievably unprepared for augmented reality, machine learning, AI, and all the other technologies that are going to make this look like dipshit. You know this phone? You know this phone is more powerful than the computer that Ronald Reagan ran to run the free world? Do you know how obnoxious that is? Do you know how lame this is going to look in 10 years? This is going to look like the pager you used to fucking run around with. My friends, this shit's just starting, and a lot of people in this room have their head in the sand because it's going well, or because they say, not in our industry. I love that shit, not in our industry. Technology is going to change everything, all of it. And the fact that I, with 3 hours of bullshit homework, understood how to run Facebook ads in markets along with AccuWeather data to be able to be a competitor should be scary, because I don't know anything else, and I could already be a problem. And when companies understand that, and a national player decides to do that, that will be a factor. Get just right. And so, I think this is awesome. I don't think, like, when I talk about this, I don't think this is bad. I actually think this room is way ahead. You have an actual business, you know what the fuck you're doing. You're not at this conference because you're a loser, that means you're winning. It means you have the resources or the talent to actually go on the offense. Your only vulnerability is sitting on your hands and resting on your laurels and letting technology eat your shit. That's up to you. That only takes 10 hours of education. You want to know how to do something? I love when people where's the Q&A? How are we setting up the Q&A? Are you guys going to run mics, or do you have a set? Can somebody answer that for me? Like, do you guys run mics? I know you guys are probably scrambling back and trying to get a sense. I want to get to that part, but I want to set up. Are you guys going to run mics? Yes. Awesome. So, let me tell you one question you shouldn't ask me right now, and I'd love for you to ask me one-on-one questions. Ask me basic shit, because a lot of people need to hear it. But the one thing you shouldn't ask is, how do I? Because anything you have a question of, how do I run an ad? It's called Google. How do I run an Instagram ad to get somebody's business after a hailstorm and dirt? Guys, you guys are smart. The only reason you're not doing it is because you don't want to. The only reason you don't want to is because people hate change. Change doesn't give a fuck about you. Thank you.
Okay. Gary, you want to take a question over here?
Yeah, Thank you guys. I want to bounce back and forth, right? Like for me, and I'm going to set this up, like I'd love as many questions as possible because I want practical shit, right? I'm not here to...
Family start relating to the long hours, dad up in the morning, late at night sleeping, the whole thing. Question for you. I find on my Facebook ads, and we ran many times, the demographics is always a challenge because there's a transition in age going on. So the commercial real estate clients that we go after are typically in the older bracket.
Okay.
And I'm finding that the challenge maybe currently is, but maybe won't be later. You follow what I'm saying? It's more
you're telling me you're struggling. Oh,
I'm asking kind of a question.
You're
I'm struggling with that.
You know, also, I actually thought you were going to go the other way. You're telling me you're struggling to find older demographics?
No. Yeah, I am. Like, so when we target market, we're going after the commercial asset owners, but I'm finding that we're pulling in some of the younger and not so serious. You know, the commercial asset owners are usually older people.
I get it. So are you targeting by income level and age group?
Income level and age group, yeah.
And so you're getting some stragglers along that are getting because of the sharing?
Yeah, we're not finding
How much Facebook ad dollars have you spent?
We're spending between 10 and 15 grand a month.
And you were not able to convert?
Very, very, very little.
And so what was happening on the content side?
Well, we actually worked internally, and then we had also a social media company that we hired, and the ROI was just really bad.
Listen, I respect the shit out of that, and as I ask you questions, I don't feel like you were mailing it in. There's two variables in a Facebook environment. Number one, the creative is the variable, right? So like, it's attention. You know, why are some people that not closing higher than others? You know, you get 30 doors open, 2 people get $30 open, one gal gets 6 people to convert, one gal gets 14. It's the copy, it's the creative. I'd have to look carefully, and by the way, just because I appreciate how much you've spent and the rah-rah I put in, send me an email to Gary VaynerMedia. Let me get access to look at what you did. So I'll give you a free like $20,000 consultation value thing to tell you where you and your team fucked up.
Yeah, I love that.
The other thing, before I get to this, the other thing is a lot of people go into right hooks. It's just sales, right? And obviously, we don't want to be sold to. So I think about it as jab, 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 right hook. If you put out 3 pieces of content that are more valuable, like did you know? Like to me, the number one winner here is the person that helps people prevent meeting them. Cool, cool, love it.
Hey Gary, my name's Elliot.
Hey Elliot.
Hey. So I've seen a bunch of your stuff on YouTube about documenting versus creating.
Yes.
You touched on that just a minute ago. But it always seems like you connect it to personal pages or each individual person being a media person or their own document, their own person. What about brands? Can brands document? What would that look like?
Well, brands don't exist. There's the people running the brand.
Okay.
If here's Coca-Cola, that's some boring ass content. It's the CEO of Coca-Cola is interesting. The sales kid in the market of Coca-Cola is interesting. Like, so I think of it like The Office or Sports Center, anchors, right? The people, like Office, the sitcom, right? Like the amount of, how many people here have more than 10 employees? Right, all these people have companies. In those 10 employees, you got some fucking characters that we'd love to put some camera on, So to me, it's the humans make up the brand. The brand can't make content. Your jean jacket is a brand, but like, it can't talk. So it's the humans behind the brand. You can make it more about the office environment, less about the individual person if you want to go there. And you do that as a programmer, right? You give equal billing on the 12-minute video to the front desk person, to the CEO, to the person that cleans the carpets, to the customer. How you storytell is up to you. But absolutely, like that's how people get like into brand always outpaces sales. This is a room full of people that understand sales. I understand sales, but the ultimate is brand when it comes to you.
Cool. Thanks, man.
You got it.
Hey Gary, I'm Russell. How are you?
Good, Russell.
Awesome. Quick shout out to D-Rock, probably the best cameraman out there. So
Thank you.
that's for Babin.
Eat it,
That's right there.
So I actually have my own company, but I partnered with another company to work with them, and it is coming from somebody who you give all your content out, you give all your secrets out. Maybe you can kind of elaborate on that as far as like
why do I give away all my best advice for free?
why should people work together? Because this is an industry where it's kind of like dog eat dog world. So why are you succeeding and giving all your secrets away at the same time?
I mean, because doing the right thing is the right thing. Karma is practical. You know, I heard somebody rant earlier, right? That was like, hey, when I win, I don't think it's coming out of you. The guy that closed, I couldn't know who was on stage, but I believe in that, right? Because I love the idea of 85 people here going and listening to me, winning. I didn't make anything for it, but it then becomes brand. If she goes out and listens, and then 2 years later, she's having dinner with a friend, and she's talking about what happened to her life, that friend might be the CEO of GE. You know, I'm playing with the biggest brands in the world. I'm not trying to monetize my audience. I'm trying to, like, just bring the most value in the world and let that lift all my other opportunities. So I think giving away your best secrets is the greatest strategy for 2 reasons. Karma is practical and leads to more business, but here's the secret, and it's even funnier. 99% of these people are not going to do anything about it. Somewhere about 5 or 6 years ago, I realized this fact. Holy shit, people aren't going to do anything with this. So fuck it. Like, they're still going to be playing for me, and I'm going to be the most lovable guy ever. I love this. So, you know, giving away your best advice is the business development, because then it becomes, the reason people work together is because it's nuanced. Right? I'm giving all the best advice, but then if I step down, look, what I'm about to do for that dude, right, is we're going to really look. I know I'm theoretically right, but I don't know the details of what made his 20,000 not work. I got to look. And so there's always one extra step when you look under the hood. There's the theoretics of how you fix a car. I can tell you everything about fixing a car, but until I look at your car and look under the hood, I'm like, oh, it was this part.
Gary V. Joe Hyde with PR and Roofing from Alabama.
My friend.
Two things I want to do. I want everybody to get out their cell phone, because we are trying to all build our social media presence here and wherever you are. So if you'll get out your phone and follow Joe Hyde on Instagram and like the Facebook page for PR and Roofing. My question to you is,
He's in
Do
trouble
you
with
really
that
think that was a good idea?
He's in trouble.
hey, we're here.
He was in
Hey,
trouble.
we're trying to blow up.
You know, bro, I honestly think
He wouldn't
that was
like
one
that
of
one.
like, the worst moves I've ever seen, because I'm not trying to rat you.
Talk to me.
I am talking. I'm trying to give you love.
Let's see.
I love the passion to win.
That dude
The
boss
problem
up.
is you tried to close on the first move. You
What's
put
up,
the
man?
no value and you asked them to bring you value. Like, you gave, like, I will stand up here and give a fuckload of value and never mention one time for any of them to follow me, and a lot more of them will follow me than they're going to follow that bullshit move that you just did.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to be known. Just trying to be known.
I get it, but this was back to the question that just happened. This is why I want you to win.
Okay.
That move is always going to lose. You can't go tonight when you go out in Vegas and you see a pretty girl at the bar. You can't go up to her and the opening move is like, "Here's my key, let's go fuck." But that's what you just did. No, hold on. But that's what you just did to this audience with business.
My question, I was going to do this but my question to you is, so if we have a YouTube page, if everybody has a YouTube page, maybe I should have did this before I did that.
Maybe.
So if you have a YouTube page, right, everybody's bringing content, YouTube
Yes.
page, and I know that you were talking about podcasts.
Yes.
Is there an app or some kind of technology that we can transfer maybe our YouTube content into a podcast?
Smart. You can rip, whoever's doing your YouTube show, or like the technical person, can rip the audio and then upload it to video. And I did that for a long time.
Okay.
But let me teach you this. It was also not as effective as when I changed my style. I used to do the Ask Gary V show, and I would rip it, and that would be my podcast. Now I'm doing a lot of different things that are more podcast native, and my podcast has done better. But it is an absolute right first move. It's a great, great thought. And that's exactly what you should do. You should strip the audio out of the YouTube show and post it as a podcast. 100% great start.
So there's no like app or anything?
The problem
it's really
is,
easy.
you're gonna love this about me. I don't like to talk about shit I don't know.
Okay.
right? There's a reason I got P's and F's. It's because I don't focus on dumb shit, right? You can literally go to Google right now and type in, how do I script the audio out of my YouTube video?
Got you. Thank you, Gary.
Nobody else is allowed to embarrass me again. If it happens, we have an issue.
By the way, that didn't embarrass me. I mean, first of all, I appreciate like the gangster nature of it. I just want him to win. I just know that movie's not going to work. You know, that's all. That's all. It's not
I'm talking
I'm
about these guys behind me.
All right, let's do it.
Hey Gary, just want to say thank you for being you and talking about attention. And one thing you mentioned today was ROI and
Yes.
creative Facebook content. So
Yes.
if you were a roofer here today and there was a company that was here offering free 30-second commercials, would you take advantage of that today?
Yes, as long as it wasn't a loaded offer.
Okay.
So as long as you were actually doing it my way, not his way, yes.
Okay, perfect. Would you mind coming out and seeing us and shooting a video with us in the hallway?
I don't want to bullshit you, maybe. I got to do their meet and greet and I got to catch my flight. So I
Understand.
don't want to bullshit you, probably not. But I appreciate the ask.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Any other roofers can see us out in the lobby.
Appreciate it.
Hi, my name's Armando.
What's up, Armando?
Hi, what's up? I'm like so excited that you're applied your brain to like an industry that I happen to be working in.
Armando, it's crazy. This industry's got so much opportunity. Like, you know, obviously I wasn't aware of it, but there's so many things in the favor of this industry, which is why, and I'll be very frank with you, and I'm not trying to razz, it's why a lot of C players are doing well. I want the C players to become A players, because I think a lot of people here are doing well because the game is a good game, and that allows them to be complacent, and then that becomes the reason they get hurt when technology comes and fucks them.
So you mentioned when Uber hit your
Yes.
your best friends, and I 100% on the same page. I'm pretty already set that Amazon is going to happen here.
Yep.
It's already happening a little bit, like in the handyman
I
industry.
saw.
You want to call it that?
I saw.
I was going to hire a handyman that the Crain recommended.
Yep.
$129 an hour.
Yes.
And then I look on Amazon, I get $124 for 2 hours.
Yep.
He's going to get more work done for cheaper. So I just realized my industry is susceptible to that.
Brother, everybody's industry is. The biggest reason niche industries like this get really hurt by technology is called audacity. You don't think your industry's next.
If you had to make a guess from what little you know now, from what you've done some research and stuff on this industry, if you had to make a guess, you think we have 10 years maybe before Amazon happens?
Honestly, bro, I have no idea.
Okay.
But I can tell you it will happen.
Okay.
And here's the punchline. Whether it happens in 3, 6, or 10, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So save money. Reinvest your money back into your business and do new shit. Build out your personal brand that nobody can ever take away from you. Got it?
I'm going to go tonight and make a really bad podcast. I think.
Don't do it now. Don't do it
now.
right the fuck now, Armando.
Okay.
All right.
All right, see ya.
Hey Gary, Brian Davidoff, Nebraska. I attended your 4D deep dive in December, and one of the best things I did last year, man.
Did it
you had
bring
a great
value?
staff. A ton of value.
It's been really crazy how well that program is working. Like that's a little bit, you know what, you probably can answer the dude's question better than I can. You came to the $10,000 consulting thing. That is the deeper version of what I put out for free. I was scared to do that because I wanted to be valuable. It's gone the other way. We're about to go all in because literally 90% of the businesses are crushing after it.
Yeah,
What was the biggest difference between what was free and what was like under the hood?
it was your staff. It was being able to sit down with your staff and the leaders in the different departments and really break down
The details.
the details, and to be able to just talk one-on-one about your business and really the networking, the Facebook alumni group, and it's been
What's your question?
phenomenal.
Thank you.
So the question is a two-part question. One of them is, what do you see as far as voice in the home improvement industry? I think when I sat down in your group, our industry was a little bit different than the guy that sold $6 million worth of,
Yep.
So in our industry, I think that was one of the biggest challenges when I went to that group, understanding what we do and how we do it, how it applies. So where do you see voice?
I mean,
being
voice
part?
is early, guys. How many of you have an Alexa pod at home or Google Home? Good. that thing is going to be the most important thing in your life in 7 years. Like, I promise you that you would be stunned in 7 years that 25% of the people who are affected by a storm are literally, as it's happening, saying, Alexa, I need a roofer, or Alexa, I need somebody to fix this, and Amazon's going to pick who's coming. Guys, you don't get it. The people in the field knocking on the door are not fast enough. The end. They're fast enough right now. But only 4 people are retiring in the next 10 years. Got it? That's what I care about. So, how is it going to affect? You need to figure out how to make content on Amazon. You should create a skill for your business that nobody's going to listen to for 3 years, but when it becomes real, you'll have the algorithm and luxury of being there longer and being prepared to take advantage of, hey, Alexa, I need a roofer tomorrow, and being that result. Got it?
Thanks, Gary.
Got it.
Hey, Gary.
How are you,
My
buddy?
name's Shane.
A little closer to your
All
mouth.
right. We post probably 2 or 3 Facebook ads every day.
2 to 3 Facebook ads or
Yeah.
posts?
Ads. So we'll do post, like we'll do a video
Yep.
and then we'll boost the post.
No boosting. Boosting's bad.
All right. So we're no more boosting posts. But
No, real quick. This is why this is awesome and why I like doing Q&A. You know, if you're not educated, back to how good are you at it? If you post on your Facebook page, Facebook's smart. They make it very easy for you to hit that little boost button after you post it. It feels really easy. You click it and it says you'll reach 12,000 more people for $197 and you click it. The problem is it's the worst inventory. You're going to reach 12,000 people who don't give a fuck. Versus if you plan the ad before you post it and you say 34 to 37-year-old, individuals that make $150,000 or more who are fans of Alabama football, and then your video starts with, are you a Bama fan like me? Now you start converting. Now do you understand why I have to look under the hood? Context. Or you target people that went to the same high school as you. And the opening video is like, go Rams, class of 94,
And is it better to use on the ad manager side, the lead generation ad, or just boost in a post
Both.
and use like a click funnel or something?
Both.
Both?
Test. The content is the variable.
All right.
Got it?
Sweet.
I just gave you examples of what would make somebody pay attention in the first 3 seconds.
Got it.
People trust people they went to the same high school. That's just the way the world works.
Hey Gary, my name's Zach. And,
Zach?
Not to suck your dick too much, but I want to let you know the reason I got back in entrepreneurship was I saw one of your videos about a year and a half ago, and I said, quit being a bitch and start a business again, so thanks.
You're welcome. That makes me happy, bro.
Yeah, good. So I watched a Facebook video on 4th of July last year, so you guys may have seen it. Get a roof, get a gun. We got about 200 million views in a little while, so yeah.
That shit will always work.
So we got us on Fox News. I was battling Piers Morgan on Good Morning Britain about rights to live in America. I mean, we've done great with all the backlinks for our SEO and stuff, but I've struggled on how do we follow that up, especially with our Facebook marketing. I mean, obviously, we got a bunch of followers, a bunch of likes, but how do we really obviously, we're not going to catch lightning in a bottle like that, most likely again. It's just how to take that now to the next level.
And the question is, what lightning did you actually catch, right? Because if you get 100,000 followers and 94% of them just see the gun laws the same way you do, and it's like they want to support you, but they don't lead to business, cool on maybe something you're passionate about as an issue, but not cool on your business. I don't care about my videos going viral. I care about the right, dude, this is so meta. I just want to make sure I'm reaching a guy who sees a video and says, fuck it, let me be an entrepreneur again. You're my ROI. I changed the course of your life with a piece of video. If I can do that with 57 people, I'm pumped. I don't need 8 million views. And so I think people get caught up in likes and views and follows and don't actually understand what they're trying to do. I assume you're trying to get people for your business.
Right.
I'd much rather you run ads in a 10-mile radius of your business where you're more likely to get business than to get the euphoria of a viral video so you can think it's... Now, if that gets you off, then keep doing it. fun, right? Like when you were like, I know what it feels like to have viral videos. When it's happening, you're like, well, it's fun. But at the end of the day, we have to stay disciplined. Like I told you, I'm not a technologist. I don't like tech. I don't like social networks. I like money. This is business to me. This is business to me. So stay disciplined on the business, not the euphoria of having. People are like, how many followers do you have? I'm like, I'm not sure. I've got a sense of where my followers are. That's the last thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about the impact on my business. I'm putting out the best content. I like when I know 10,000 leads are coming into VaynerMedia's website a day. That's what I care about, not 10,000 views.
Nick Pratt, Summit Media.
How are you, Nick?
Good, man. Hey, quick testimonial. Ran into this guy at the airport in New Orleans. I told him I stopped consuming his content. I was like, hey, I'm not executing on what you taught me. And he's like, hey, that's the whole point. And the interaction was so fucking great that I went out and bought Crushing It, which was amazing. So if you have not got that, go get Crushing It. But you always talk about, hey, you want to be ahead of the game, right? So Facebook advertising is where it's at right now. That's where the cheap attention is. That's how you can generate those
And
leads.
before you ask the next part of like what's next or this and that, the being ahead of the game is actually being best at the thing that's working right now. I'm not Nostradamus. I have no clue what's tomorrow. Hold on for a second. I don't have a clue of what's tomorrow. I think the version of being ahead of the game is knowing that Facebook ads are worth 10 to 20 times what they're worth right now and going all in. That's ahead of the game because 99% of the world isn't doing it. I don't want to guess that this Vero is going to be a big app, or how is Snapchat going to evolve, or is MySpace going to come back, or what two girls in Tennessee are coming up with next. That's guessing. I don't fucking guess.
Gary, how you doing?
Good, bro.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, so
Can we make them a little bit louder? I don't know if you guys have that control. Go ahead.
Is that working?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good? All right. How you doing, buddy? What's
Real well.
Awesome Solutions. Here's my question. We all know that branding is important. We've all spoken about that, so I'll pass that over. But the question is, as you grew, I imagine initially you did your branding yourself, and that grew, and you have people that relay your message.
That's exactly right.
How do you get people to actually relay your message, not turn it into their message?
By not being a dick and over-romanticize my personal point of view on my content.
All right, so...
The reason people struggle with outsourcing that
Right.
is because they're perfectionists and they think they're right.
So pay attention to the people that are working with you and just work together, collaboration.
And recognize that tomorrow you get to put out more content. Too many people can't check their egos.
What's the lifespan of content?
What's that?
What's the lifespan of content when you get it out there?
It could be 1 second, or it could be the piece of content that gets you through for the next 20 years of your life. You don't know. But too many people start with their ego and don't have the humility to actually make more money.
I love it. Thank you.
You got it.
Hey Gary, this is Ryan McClain, Next GRC Group. I'm super stoked to be here, biggest hustle in the world. We all got to see a legend right here.
Thank you.
So my question is, how can we harness the hustle gene? How can we pass on the hustle gene to our company, and to how can we instill this?
You can't. What you can do is you can hustle, and then people will either ride up to it or run away from it. Like, I don't judge my people. First of all, nobody that works for you should hustle as hard as you. Period. You want somebody to hustle as hard as you that works for you? Give them the same economics you're taking home. Number two, with kids, rich kids aren't going to care as much as you about money because you didn't have any, and so you had to fight for it, and then that's just real. So I think I set the tone for my company. Some people rise up, some people find their work-life balance, some people bounce. I'm not in the game of thinking that's important. If I feel good about what I'm paying somebody for what I'm getting in return, I don't need to judge that they need to work harder. So I don't want to get a deal for my people. Do you understand? I want my people to be on my team, not me getting more value out of them. It's a huge mistake with business owners.
Joe Bremberg, Smart Roof.
Hey, Joe.
Gary, obviously I speak for everybody in this room when I just say I fucking love listening to you talk.
Thank you, man.
good Google, but I don't want to sift through a bunch of bullshit and
Respect.
people's opinions I don't
Respect.
care about. I value your opinion.
Go ahead.
If you could say the #1 rule or the top 5 rules or the 10 commandments of creating and developing content for social media ads, what would you give me?
Number one, you have to understand that that gentleman right there, Scott, when he's on Facebook and he's on Instagram, he's a different person. He uses Facebook for one thing, he uses LinkedIn for another thing, he uses Twitter for another thing. You have to understand the psychology of a person when they're consuming your content, because the context of that matters. Number two, never put out a piece of content, ever, that is in your best interest and not your audience's. The #1 reason that 99% of you are losing is because you put out content that is completely predicated on this piece of content is going to make me a sale. Content is at an abundance. People want content that brings them value. Educate, don't sell. So I put out content that's valuable, that's why people like it. Then that leads to it. It's patience. The lack of patience with people's content. Understand the context of where you're putting out content. Make the content about them. If you made you know who's going to win in 3 years on Facebook in the storm business? The person who makes the video that everybody in town sees 24 hours before the storm that says, here's how you avoid having me and my competition come to you and have to fix your thing. Do this, do that, do this. Then you're a resource for them. Everybody in town is going to see that. And then when 90% of them don't, 80% of that 90% is going to reach out to you.
So to follow up on that, what you would say is don't try to be like, hey, we'll come out and give you free inspection. Say, hey, most homeowners don't understand the claims process. This is the claims process and how to properly handle it.
100%. Everybody's given free we know what you're doing. Your free is fucking loaded. Nobody wants your fucking loaded free, dick.
I fucking love you, brother. Thank you.
Free.
Hey Gary, thanks so much. I'm excited to talk to you. I'm a huge fan. My name's Joey Kramer. I'm with FCR, and I've got a question to ask and a favor. The question is, with Facebook's always changing algorithms and everything, we've got some huge changes coming up very soon where it's going to be shifting business supposedly to one page basically, and then your friend's feed in the other. How do you think that's going to affect, or what are your thoughts on how we're going to combat that, other than just having to pay money, obviously?
You have to pay money.
You got to pay money on it.
Good news. It's a fucking deal. Like all these people that are so upset at Instagram and Facebook algorithm changes, it was free. You were paying. Entitlement and being spoiled is a weakness. Meanwhile, the alternative is there's an ad that costs $6 to get in front of 1,000 people that I'm telling you, after you do your homework, is worth $100. That's all.
The favor I have to ask is, my wife's back at home, she runs her business, and you actually answered one of her questions for our company, her company basically, a couple years ago on Ask Gary V, and I've got the print off of it, and it would mean the world to her if I could get your autograph on it.
Done.
Thank you.
Come up.
This will be the last question.
Hurry up.
Hey, Gary, Dimitri.
Hey, Dimitri.
Thanks for everything you do, man. My question is actually about YouTube.
YouTube.
You talk a lot about Facebook. So
I do.
I have 2 YouTube channels for roofing business and another one. And when I upload videos, I upload both on YouTube and both on Facebook. But I'm a little bit lost on the YouTube. I know you started, for your business, you've been doing YouTubing. So the thing for me, like, for example, I noticed that 99% of all my views on YouTube on both channels come from non-subscribers.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to figure out is, I do ads on Facebook. I do a lot of them. I sell a lot of stuff on Facebook.
So that works for you?
It works great. I agree with you 100% that free doesn't work. I never offer anything free. If you can charge for my inspections, then everybody's buying them like hotcakes.
Go figure.
Now, as far as YouTube goes, how can you monetize? Do you recommend running ads? How do you...
YouTube, this is why we do Q&A. So I talk a lot about YouTube. I just didn't today because, I get into my cadence and I freestyle up here and who knows what the fuck I'm going to talk about. YouTube has one of the craziest ads. You guys are all going to laugh. I have a funny feeling 80% of you are gonna like, oh, this thing that I'm about to say way more than what I've been talking about for an hour. YouTube has a crazy ad. 8 months ago, YouTube made it available for all of us to be able to service an ad in front of a video. So I, Gary, go watch a Jets highlight video, but the ad that I see is now based on exactly what I searched on Google. So you can literally run a pre-roll video ad of you saying, I can help you fix your roof, fix your house, or whatever, based on the fact that I literally typed into Google 7 days ago, I need a new roofer.
So just create ads like you would do. Like for example, like just about 4 weeks ago, I did a video. Can you install a roof? Can you install a roof in the wintertime? And it's like 7-8 minute video. You know, I have like 2,000 views within a couple of weeks, which is great. So what kind of ad would I do? Like I know people's watching it.
Run ads on people searching that on Google, and then take that YouTube video and pre-roll it in front of them when they're watching movie trailers. You already know they're looking for the information.
But how do I target it? Like just like
you're targeting based on the search. Go into YouTube ads. There's something where you can target based on search query. You type in the direct thing that they're searching. Like, what was the thing you just said about it? What was it?
Can you install roofs in the wintertime?
Right. Target people who've typed in, can you install roofs in the wintertime on Google? And then when they go to YouTube and go watch the new Black Panther trailer, your fucking face is gonna show up first. And then fucking Dimitri again.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead, I'm listening. Let's sneak it in.
Hey, Jeff here, Music City Roofers, Nashville, Tennessee. I wanted to give a shout out. My son is back at the place running the show. He wanted to be here. He's 24. He's your greatest fan. We use a lot of your stuff. We are the #1 online review roofer in Nashville, over 100 Google Plus reviews. Works great. We were voted the best Brentwood roofer in the magazine. So I was just wondering if you could just say something to my son James, he's 24, on a video. That'd be awesome, man.
Wow, that's awesome.
Hey James, it's Gary V. I'm here with your dad. I'm really fucking pissed that you're not here. That's exactly what you should be doing. Hope you get to meet and see it. Thank you.
Premier Claims, who is number 113. They are sponsoring Aaron Elby, country singer Aaron Elby will be up here at 12:30. The meet and greet will be at John Google's booth 409, but you guys